Hey, Jermaine, everyone coming back, and today I'm going to be doing a video that was prompted by a video request by one of my subscribers, Sin and Acceleration. I'm going to be giving you several different videos. He's basically asking me about tactics for 3.5, and I'm going to start off with using the Warrior Wizard, my favorite type of wizard to play, and I always play Specialist, but my favorite type of arcanist to play. I might do some more videos along these lines with different types, different arcane paths to explain what spells might be, the spells you really want to go with and why, and give you my input and take on this. Let me say one quick qualifier. Don't ever play the battle map. Don't ever play for the damage, for the dice rolls when you're trying to discuss what is tactical. You're talking to a form over function guy here. Don't do that, because you're not going to remember, no one's going to remember, no one's going to care. Play for the moments that people care about. Play to do cool stuff. Cool stuff always infinitely trumps everything else in a role-playing game, because that is what people remember. And why even bother doing something that is going to be forgotten while you're doing it? Those 3 points of damage are irrelevant, but the chance to do really cool things isn't. But I'm going to go over and describe a bit more of that. Let me just start real quick with 0th level spells, and then I'm just going to hit 1st level in this video. The combat spells, buffs, and damagers at 0th level, I think, are irredeemably terrible. They're worthless, particularly for this type of character. They're utterly worthless, and you will never cast them. So, moving on, Read Magic and Detect Magic are building block necessities. Read Magic, the most important spell. Detect Magic, the next most important at 0th level. Prestidigitation is clearly number 3. It is a wonderful spell if you actually really get into the realism of it, the dirt, the grime, the hideousness of what's against you in these dungeons and in these battles, how, the terrible blood is all over you and the shit of your enemies after battle, sleeping on the ground, but you go in and look opulent and baller as you wash yourself off with Prestidigitation, you spice up your food. Prestidigitation can do so many wonderful, awesome things. It's cantrip. It's a great spell. The AD&D cantrip, basically. After that, Mending, for pretty much the same reasons. All the other 0th level utilitarian spells are okay. Light, Dancing Lights. Ghost Sound is a nice one. And I'm just going off of just the 3.5 Player's Handbook, just for the ease of it in this discussion. Of course, there are more spells printed in 3.5 and in the OGL for 3.5 than there are anything else. They are the highest quantity of things, if I can be abstract, that they have in the game. So, at 1st level, and again, we're talking about a warrior. We're talking about a guy who will swing a hammer and bust you in the mouth while he's casting spells. The Blade Singer, the Eldritch Knight, the Abjurant Champion, the mixing with Fighter and Wizard, the mixing of Fighter, Wizard, and Human or Elf Paragon, bringing all these classes into play. There are a number of spells that are really great at 1st level for different option type characters. For this character, the obvious choice in my estimation is Enlarge. I love the spell Enlarge. I had a character I was building. I never actually got to play him, but this character actually was going to be my first attempt at a Psionicist, since they have the Enlarge spell, easy enough, flipping it around to building out a character that way as well. But we'll just go at it as if that was a wizard type. And with the Enlarge spell, I had a character that had a decent dexterity. I took combat reflexes, and I was looking at getting that whirlwind attack later on, and I took the Spike Chain. I love the Spike Chain. The first time I played 3X, I looked at it and I saw Spike Chain, and it looked awesome. I saw Half-Orc, I saw Barbarian. I went bing, bang, boom, and it was an odd multi-classing things. I was like, Cleric, Barbarian, Spike Chain for my feet. I'm good to go. Half-Orc, the first one I played, I loved it. Love the Spike Chain. I know I'll probably get a thumbs down from Tetsubo for this, but I like the Spike Chain. I think it looks freaking awesome, and it doesn't cut you. It has little rungs there that you put your hands into, and it's a fantasy game anyway. So I go over the fact that I can picture that in my mind, and that's enough for me. But what the Spike Chain does mechanically is you can use it to hit adjacent creatures while you can still reach with it. So while you're large sized, now instead of having a 10-foot reach, you have a 20-foot reach, and you can hit everything inside that reach with your combat reflexes, which gives you additional attacks of opportunity. You can really start lighting some fools up. You get that whirlwind attack later, you can just start tearing through everything around you, and that is just some real nastiness in terms of the way, you know, in my mind I'm picturing that, the chains spinning, the heads getting ripped off, the blood going everywhere, the gore getting all over you, and just rushing up and just growing huge to like 13 feet in height and just stomping dudes. I love the enlarged, love the way of it. You run in, boom, first round, you're enlarged. There are 2 other spells at this level that are very, very good for this type character. Those are Mage Armor and Shield, but I think Enlarge overall is better. It definitely gives you the oomph, the damage, and you're going to be low hit point because there's no real way to get around that. But, and you're also going to have a bad armor class, which means you don't want to stand there and get wailed on for a while. Doing a lot of damage is a great way to prevent that from happening. So, Enlarge, the spell I picked there. I'm also going to go over, just for in general, for role-playing purposes, the spell at first level that I would pick, and that is Comprehend Languages. You can do some really great stuff with Comprehend Languages because you can understand what they're saying, but you can't talk back to them in their language. So you have to make hand motions and draw things out, and then they'll start kind of, whatever it is, we'll start getting an idea, you know, and you, particularly in my game, I will let you parlay with monsters. A lot of times monsters will parlay with you. Sometimes they might be like, all right, you know, you're going to have to give us some things that you're not going to give them, you know. But sometimes the players will go, okay, a couple gold. Maybe it's a good way to get around having to deal with these ogres. Oh, they're, you know, maybe they're just hungry. We give them some food, and they won't decide to eat us. There's a lot of ways that once you open up doors of communication, that you can have peace, and that is very possible in a role-playing game. So always keep that in mind as a game master, to have those sort of parlay situations, because people remember, like, oh, it was really cool. We talked with the ogres, and we sat down, and it was all tense, and we did a campfire dinner, and with a stew pot boiling up, the rabbits, and we're chopping the carrots up, and they're looking at the ogre, and the ogre's over there, looking at the halfling, like the halfling might just need to go for a ride into that boiling pot of water, and maybe he should. And maybe he will, but you know, you don't know. And maybe halfling will taste good to you as well. So perhaps you should thank the ogre for throwing your halfling party member in there and allowing you to commit cannibalism. But those are the spells that I picked out here for your sin acceleration, and I think that for that particular type. And this is a really long, broad topic in terms of discussing tactics. And again, I don't play the board, so I'm not a war gamer. I'm not a tactics guy. I play for the cool factor, and I definitely say really consider playing for the cool factor, not just the overall abilities, but coming together with a character, a concept I had, that stuff all came together in there, and I said, that's going to look pretty good. I never got to do it, but it looked like it would be a tip maybe worth passing on to you. And you guys, let me know if you find any of that useful. Let me know what your favorite first level and favorite 0th level spell are, both for combat situation and for out of combat situation.